Only in Kentucky can a single county claim a legendary witch, an alleged Viking stone, and a city entirely surrounded by an army base. Hi, I'm Michael, and I'm learning a little bit more about Kentucky, one county at a time, all 120 of them. And today, I'm learning about Meade County. This county sits in the northern portion of Kentucky. The Ohio River forms the northern boundary of the jurisdiction, providing over 50 miles of uninterrupted riverfront that shaped the development of the entire area. The bedrock beneath the soil is limestone, which forms elaborate cave systems such as Morgan's Cave within the Otter Creek outdoor recreation area. The terrain eventually rises from the river valley to reach peaks exceeding 1,000 feet, such as at B. Knob Hill. And today, the population of the county is roughly 30,000. Human habitation in this river valley spans millennia. Archaeologists have excavated sites such as the Glen Fount site near Brandenburg, discovering artifacts dating back to the Woodland period. Squire Boone, Daniel Boone's brother, explored the area around 1778, navigating the wilderness alongside John McKinney. Boone noticed an abundance of deer gathering near the salt licks, which prompted him to name the waterway Doe Run Creek. Pioneers soon traveled down the Ohio River on flatboats to establish permanent settlements near the water. A man named Jonathan Essery built a limestone mill on Doe Run Creek around 1790, constructing walls that measure 2 feet thick. And actually, Thomas Lincoln, Abraham's father, worked as a stonemason on an addition to the structure in 1800 before his son Abraham was born, and this mill eventually became the business known today as the Doe Run Inn. The Kentucky legislature officially established Meade County in 1823 by carving the territory from Hardin County and taking additional land from Breckinridge County. Lawmakers named the jurisdiction for Captain James M. Meade, who died in action at the Battle of River Raisin during the War of 1812. A pioneer named Solomon Brandenburg purchased a tract of land called Falling Springs and opened a tavern near the river. The community quickly grew around this gathering place, prompting officials to move the county seat to this river landing in 1825 after attempting to govern from an unpopular settlement called Claysville. The town officially adopted the name Brandenburg, and its waterfront location made the settlement a vital hub for steamboat traffic. Entrepreneurs utilized the waterways to power early industries. Robert Graham established a textile operation along Otter Creek in 1837, building the first factory in Kentucky to utilize steam power for textile production. The community of Grampton grew rapidly around the facility as workers produced cotton materials and wool garments for decades. The pioneer era also gave rise to local folklore that continues to define the region's culture today. Residents of the Lapland area talk about stories about a young woman named Leah Smock, who possessed extensive knowledge regarding herbal medicine and understood which weeds contained poisonous roots and which ones to avoid. Well, at the time, neighbors grew suspicious of her intellect and accused her of practicing witchcraft, ultimately blaming her when a local baby died suddenly. In the summer of 1840, the parents of Leah Smock left their farm to visit a nearby town. Unknown men arrived at the property while she was alone, breaking in, tying her up, and trapping her inside a smokehouse before setting the building on fire. She perished in the flames, and the community remembers her tragedy today by hosting the annual Battletown Witch Festival. Violence occasionally erupted in the town center as well, though. William March sat on the steps of the Hotel Meade in May 1858 when Stanley Young aimed a pistol from a balcony above and shot March in the forehead. Young sought revenge for a past grievance because March had killed his father during an argument at a hotel in Indiana several years before. A jury had acquitted March after he claimed self-defense, but Young vowed to avenge the death. And he eventually did by crossing the river into Brandenburg, executing the assassination, and fled the scene on a fast horse. Farmers also unearthed mysteries buried in the soil. A farmer named Craig Crexilius, I'll figure it out, discovered a limestone slab while plowing his field in 1912. The rock featured linear marks that confused academics for decades, leading him to display the artifact at local fairs for half a century until the stone broke into 3 separate pieces. Researchers eventually examined the markings, and a pair of historians claim the marks represent a Welsh alphabet. They theorized the Brandenburg stone proved that explorers from Wales had navigated the Ohio River centuries before Columbus reached the continent. Scholars eventually debunked the theory by identifying the script as a forgery, noting that a writer named Iolo Morganwg had invented, you'll let me know if I'm wrong, had invented the alphabet during the 1790s. Today, visitors can view the disputed artifact at the Meade County History Museum. Kentucky maintained strict neutrality during the Civil War, leaving Meade County residents deeply divided in their loyalties. The conflict arrived violently in July of 1863 when General John Hunt Morgan led a cavalry force into Brandenburg and seized control of the town. They captured 2 steamboats named the Alice Dean and the John T. Combs, which Morgan used to transport 2,500 soldiers across the Ohio River into Indiana to continue his raid across the northern states. A Union gunboat arrived to halt the crossing and fired on the Confederates, but the boat ran out of ammunition and retreated. Eventually, the Confederates burned the Alice Dean before riding north, leaving the wreckage to sink into the river. The 20th century brought a military presence to the region when the federal government established Camp Knox, now Fort Knox, in 1918 to train artillery units. This initiative sparked a land acquisition that transformed the area as the military installation absorbed thousands of acres and required the relocation of entire communities. The government purchased the land surrounding the old Grahamton textile mill, and the military base grew so large that it now completely surrounds the city of Muldraugh. Now, speaking of which, Muldraugh was officially incorporated in 1952 and sits entirely on one side of Highway 31 West, earning a Guinness World Records title as the largest city on one side of a major highway. Early travelers relied on mule-drawn wagons to climb the steep grade into the area, and this reliance on pack animals gave the town its unique name. The city eventually earned a famous nickname, though, becoming known as the Gateway to Gold because of its proximity to Fort Knox. The county faced absolute devastation during the spring of 1974. A catastrophic storm system moved across the country on April 3rd, generating a supercell that spawned a tornado near Hardinsburg. The funnel moved northeast and grew into a wedge that measured half a mile wide. The storm struck Brandenburg head-on at F5 intensity, leaving residents with no warning from the weather sirens before the winds hit downtown. The tornado destroyed 128 homes and obliterated 30 businesses, killing 31 people and injuring 270 others. It remains the only official F5 tornado in Kentucky history, and the community spent years clearing the debris and recovering from the tragedy. The current economy relies heavily on industrial development. Nucor Corporation opened a large mill near Brandenburg in 2021, investing over $1 billion to build the facility. The operation produces steel plates and provides hundreds of jobs for the region. Whistle Pig Bourbon also made a entrance into the area by establishing a distillery and bottling operation in the heart of Brandenburg, marking the first time a national brand brought this scale of production to the county. Had to get out of the rain. Anyway, farming remains a cultural touchstone despite the industrial growth. The Roberts family farm in Guston hosts the Great Pumpkin Pursuit every September, where growers compete to display the largest gourds in the state. They battle for cash prizes and bragging rights, and a competitor named Josh Monin set a state record there in 2025, presenting a pumpkin weighing an astonishing 2,209 pounds. Many of these massive gourds have traveled to Dollywood after the competition in the past, where artists carve them for fall displays. Residents enjoy incredible access to outdoor recreation at the Otter Creek Outdoor Recreation Area, which covers over 2,300 acres of sprawling forest. Visitors can fly fish or explore 24 miles of hiking trails. The park features a historic course designed in 1978 by the inventor of disc golf, and planners eventually added 9 more holes to provide a greater challenge for advanced players. Downtown Brandenburg features a 15-acre riverfront park where visitors can walk along a paved path to view Buttermilk Falls, where the water emerges from limestone cliffs and flows directly into the Ohio River. Entrepreneurs have repurposed historic structures to serve the modern community. The county constructed a brick jail in 1906, utilizing masonry, archways, and materials salvaged from an earlier facility. Today, that building operates as Jailhouse Pizza, where diners can enjoy their meals inside the original cells or sit at a table overlooking the river. The county has left a surprisingly large mark on pop culture. Location scouts filmed scenes for the movie Goldfinger along Main Street in Muldraugh, capturing the local buildings as the villains drove toward Fort Knox. Game developers use Muldraugh and Brandenburg as core locations for the video game Project Zomboid, allowing players to explore digital recreations of the towns while surviving an apocalypse. The counties also produce figures who shape professional sports. Pee Wee Reese was born in the town of Akron before becoming a Hall of Fame baseball player. He played shortstop for the Brooklyn Dodgers and famously walked across the infield during a game in Cincinnati in 1947. He put his arm around his teammate Jackie Robinson while the crowd shouted insults at Robinson from the stands, becoming a legendary milestone in the civil rights movement. Speaking of Akron, it was founded in 1906, and the founder named it after the biblical city. Flaherty was named after an early Catholic settler, while Rodelia was named after Aruna Rhodes, who donated land for the church in 1855. Every year, Brandenburg transforms its riverfront every winter for the Christmas by the River Festival, illuminating the area with over 50,000 lights. The town hosts the Brandenburg Pumpkin Walk in October, as residents line the Buttermilk Falls Trail with hundreds of carved pumpkins created by local artists. So, that's Meade County. What'd I get wrong this time? other than the pronunciation of names, again.